Tonight, we're going to be cooking biscuit dogs and a yin yang frozen dessert. That sounds good to you? Stick around, we'll show you how. Alright, well, the first thing you're going to want to do is find yourself some brats. We're using Johnsonville smoked brats. And you want to get yourself a tube of biscuits. Doesn't really matter what kind of biscuit tube you get, just get something you can roll out fairly thin. We put a little flour down before we rolled it out. And then you want to roll this out real thin because you got to remember these are going to puff up on you, and you don't want a whole bunch of biscuit and no sausage or brat. You want biscuit brats, not all biscuit. Now we just flour both sides, roll it out real thin as we can get it. You can tell I'm struggling with it a little bit. And you want to butter one side. Now you can see I started to cut the strips first. It doesn't really matter, but you want to make sure you put a little bit of butter on there. Cut you some strips. Now the reason we do this is so when we wrap the brats with it, it's not just a solid piece of biscuit dough and it'll stay all wet and moist inside. This will allow the air and moisture to get out and it won't be all soggy up against your dog. But you'll still have a lot of biscuit there. You won't need a bun. So that's why we do it like a waffle or a mummy or whatever you think this looks like here. So this is what it looks like when you're done. You just want to put these on the tray. $3.75. We threw some black pepper on there. And these will be done and ready to go. And while these are cooking, let's make some dessert. This is the yin yang frozen dessert. You're going to want 12 double stuffed Oreos. Well, 13, one for yourself. Now take these 12 Oreos and you want to take the white part, the white cream in the middle, and just cut that out of there and put that in a bowl or something, because all we need is the chocolate cookies that we're going to crush up and make for our pudding pie crust. So we're going to crush these up in a crusher, and however you want to do that, plastic bag, ninja shredder, whatever. Just crush these chocolate cookies up, add a little butter to them, and fork that together, make yourself a little pie crust, and save your whites, those delicious creamy white fillings. We're going to save that and add a little honey and cinnamon to that. Heat it up, pour it over the chocolate crust, and it'll give an extra little bit of yummy to our stuff. So I'm just going to use this little slicer dicer, put the knife blade in there, and then put the chocolate cookies in there with it, and you know what to do. Presto changeo. And with the magic of video editing, this ninja shredder will turn these cookies into a great dust that we can just make our bam crust into. So we'll take this chocolate dust, we'll add 1 little tablespoon of coffee, just straight coffee, ground coffee, and you can do 2 if you want, or some instant coffee would be good, and 3 tablespoons of butter. Alright, we're just going to fork that together, mix it all around with your fork. You can put it back into your ninja chopper or whatever you use, but I'm just going to mix it around with the fork, make sure it's all mixed together evenly, because remember, we're going to put this pie, this dessert, back in the freezer, kind of make a JELLO pudding pop type of dessert, but in a pie form, like an ice cream cake type of thing, with 2 types of pudding, make it look like a yin yang. And this is the crust we're going to use here. We're just using this round glass dish, and we want to smooth the crust out. Now we added some honey to the whites. Those are the whites we took out of the middle, and we just added a little bit of cinnamon sugar, or we're gonna add some cinnamon sugar and a few drops of milk just to thin it out a bit. And we tried putting it on there, didn't spread out real well, so we heated it up, poured it back on top. It did change color a little bit, but the two types of instant pudding we're going to use is Hershey's white chocolate and Hershey's milk chocolate. Now, to make instant pudding, you guys know how to do that. It just takes 2 cups of milk per package, and you mix it up for about 3 minutes. Bam, you got instant pudding. Now you can see there where we poured it on, it did change color, but we tasted it, didn't change the flavor too much, and it tasted really good, especially with that honey in there. And it would have stayed white if we'd have paid attention. We just lost track of time what we were doing. So now you kind of want to pour these in at the same time, and we did put them in the refrigerator for a little bit to let them set up, but only for about 5 minutes. And as long as you pour them in basically at the same time, you can sculpt them. Now you don't have to make a yin yang design out of it. That's just what we chose to do because it was white and dark and milk chocolate. So we thought it was a great little way to present this dessert is with the yin yang design. And so here we go, trying to form that little yin yang design. And if I remember right, it looks like 2 little goldfish swimming in a bowl. So we need to pull the little tails out here. Smooth it out, and we left a little bit so that we could put the little bit of white into the dark chocolate and a little bit of dark chocolate into the white. And then when you get done forming this up, what you're going to want to do is put this in your freezer and let it set up. Now it does take quite a while, being that it's so thick. You'll see when we go to taste test this that we didn't let it set up enough because we rushed it. The outside started to get hard, but if you let this sit overnight, it'd be even better. It's good right now when you're done. You could eat it like this, but it's really nice if you let it set up all the way because it kind of gets hard, but it's not real hard. It's kind of like an ice cream cake, and you can slice it, and it's a lot of fun. Kids love it, adults love it, and who doesn't like JELLO pudding? And this is Hershey's chocolate JELLO pudding, and you freeze it up like a JELLO pudding pop. I mean, come on. All right, I think those dogs are about done. Let's throw this in the freezer. Now, the thing about these biscuit dogs is, as soon as they come out of the oven, you got to put them on a plate. We like to serve them 2 dogs a piece per plate. And the reason we do that is because in between it, you'll see, when we get the 2 dogs on there with the biscuits wrapped around there, and the black pepper on top and the butter inside, we drizzle it, drench it with some maple syrup. Tonight we're using Spicy Maple Syrup by Tree's Knees. Spicy maple syrup. We're going to douse these sausage biscuits in spicy maple syrup. See how we just drizzle it on there? Man, I wish we would have put a little bit more on there. I never get enough of that on there when I do it. And then we're going to put sharp cheddar cheese and diced up fresh onions on top of the shredded cheese and on top of the maple syrup. Now, cheddar cheese and maple syrup is so good. I'm telling you what, if you guys haven't had this yet, you got to try these maple syrup biscuit brats with cheddar cheese and onion. It's so good. You guys will not regret it. All right, now stay tuned. We got a taste test coming up next. We'll let you know what we think about these biscuit brats and this yin yang freezer dessert coming up right now. All right, we got our biscuit brats here with our spicy maple syrup, our cheddar cheese, and our onions. Let's give this a try. Think it'll be any good? Maple syrup, cheddar cheese, biscuits, and brats, huh? hot. Mmm. That's really good, huh? Nice combination.
It's different. Good though.
You get all the savory stuff that you love with sausage, and then that extra zing of spicy maple syrup. Mmm. Homemade green bean casserole. What's that big square thing?
I put potatoes in it too.
Green bean casserole with potatoes. Alright, we'll bring you back when we have our dessert. We'll see how that Ying Yang frozen dessert turned out. That makes it like a pudding pop cake. Pudding pop cake, you see how it cuts? I'll tell you what's the dark chocolate. We'll give her a little bit of dark chocolate and a little bit of white chocolate. She'll get the Yang. The outside's hard. It's so big. Alright, she's got the white chocolate. With the dark chocolate. You can try it. Go ahead, dig in. Now, if you let this sit in the freezer long enough, it'll get harder. Not hard to rock. Hard like. We have weight in inside. Do you taste any? What do you taste with the chocolate or anything? I didn't tell you what I put in. Do you taste anything in the crust?
I mean, it's sweet.
I put a little bit of coffee in there. Mmm. I do wish it was all the way set up. I really like it when it's pudding pop texture.
The white chocolate got harder quicker.
Like the outside is hard, but we didn't leave it in there anywhere near enough. I'll have to leave this in there longer. Man, that is so good. You like yours?
Yeah.
Alright guys, try this. JELLO pudding pops. Don't you guys love them? We'll see you next time. This is Cooking with the Gypsy and the Vanilla Gorilla. Hope you guys liked our biscuit brats and our Ying Yang pie. What are we calling this? Ying Yang Hershey pudding pie. Bill Cosby classic. JELLO.
And a pan.
JELLO pudding pops, JELLO pudding pops, frozen pudding on a stick. You know, JELLO pudding pops is a winner with all the soapbox racers I know.
It is?
Mm-hmm. And even your mechanic's getting all revved up about it because it's so rich and creamy.
Yeah.
And it always gets the green light from Mom because it's made with real pudding.
JELLO brand pudding pops. All the goodness of real JELLO pudding, so you know it's wholesome.
A true winner.
And he gets a green light from Mom.